What up? What up? What up? It's your favorite podcast with your favorite podcast host. Talking your favorite podcast message. Talking the favorite podcast stuff. What's happening? It's Freewenow. It's Freewenow. Freewenow. It's Freewenow.
Till it is. 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 It is. It is. Backwards.
What up? What up? We back. It's Freewenow.
Till it is backwards.
Yes, sir. Ski. Listen. Let me tell you something.
Very much something.
Proverbs 18 today. Right?
Proverbs.
Another rendition, and from our boy Solomon. You know what I'm saying? King Solomon, right? Talking about practical wisdom, right? And how to apply it. What you got for the people?
Man, do you want me to go over the overview or?
You can, yeah.
All right. So the overview of Proverbs 18 is about how wisdom shows up in everyday life, especially through speech, humility, and relationships. It teaches that words have the power to bring life or destruction. True security comes from trusting God rather than wealth or pride, and discernment in listening and relationships determines whether a person experiences peace or conflict.
Cool. Peace or conflict? What are your words saying? What you sound like? What you talking about? You ain't talking about nothing. What you talking about?
You ain't talking about nothing.
You ain't talking about nothing. All right, what you pick up?
So we broke this down into 3 themes, right? The first theme is going to be wisdom versus folly in speech and understanding. Wisdom versus folly in speech and understanding. So I took the first 2 verses. As soon as I start to read, it got to me. Now, Proverbs lines up with what me and Hassan been doing. We've been reading through Proverbs, right? So the fact this came up as a Bible review is, near and dear to the heart based on where we're at in life. Verse 1, through desire, a man having separated himself seeketh and intermeddleth with all wisdom. A fool have no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. You will not stumble into wisdom. You must willingly seek and sacrifice to obtain it. And what I mean by that, it says through desire. So I first have to have the thought process for it.
Right.
I first have to want to seek it out. I first have to have this, burning in my stomach for something more, for wisdom, for understanding, for a intimate and close relationship with God. It has to first be a desire. And then it says, having separated himself.
Yeah.
I can't pursue God. I can't pursue his wisdom and understanding if I continuously live a sinful life. If I do things that separate me from what my desire is. Right. It doesn't matter. It doesn't even have to be God, whatever you want in life. If you want to get healthy, I have to go to the gym. Right. I can't sit here and snack and, as you said, eat donuts and drink sodas and do all these things. If I want to be a better communicator, I can't keep all of my information inside.
Right.
If I want to be better at anything, I have to first seek it, then separate myself from things that keep me from attaining that goal. And then lastly, it says, intermeddleth with all wisdom.
Yeah.
I have to immerse myself in that life.
Right.
I have to immerse myself in that time frame. So when I'm getting closer to the God, I have to first immerse myself in his teaching, in his rules, in his kingdom, in his principles, so that I understand, does my life align with this? Am I doing the right things?
Right.
Am I even in the right area to love and learn who God is?
Right.
So you have to first desire, separate yourself from anything that removes you from that desire or separates you from that, and then immerse your life in that environment so you can truly understand. And it says, a fool hath no delight in understanding, but that his heart may discover itself. A fool has no delight in understanding. You can't convince somebody they're wrong if they're unwilling to admit it.
Right.
God can't change your heart if you don't first say that my heart needs to be changed. It says he has the, hold on, let me break this down. It says, but that his heart may discover itself. You're trying to relearn wrong things.
Right.
When you get to talking and you get to trying to display or take away from God, right? You don't want his understanding, you want his wisdom, you don't want his guidance. All you are doing is fortifying your wrong standpoints.
Right.
The best thing that we could do is humble ourselves and understand that we don't have all the answers. That what's in our heart may not be correct.
Right.
That when we speak about certain things, we may be wrong. Allow God to do his work. Allow God to mold his life in the way that is meant to be molded so that you can attain and achieve the things he put you here for.
Yeah. No, facts. I mean, a fool has no delight in understanding but in expressing his own heart. All right. What are we talking about? My great grandma used to say, if you walk up to two if you walk up to a fool arguing, you don't know who's the fool, right? So like, I may be misquoting that. If you walk up to two fools arguing, you don't know who's the fool. Essentially, what she's saying is like, one of you could be smart, one of you could be the fool. But like, if you're arguing with a fool and somebody is watching that, you probably wouldn't know who was who.
You wouldn't know who's right or wrong.
You know what I'm saying? Because it's foolish to argue with a fool.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So like, that was just something I also took away from that, right? So verse 4, right? Again, like he's mentioned, right? This is about speech. This is about wisdom, right? And comparing wisdom to foolish speech, foolish behavior, right? So verse 4, Proverbs 18:4, right? The words of a man's mouth are deep waters.
Mm.
The wellspring of wisdom is a flowing brook, right? So there's like two lines, right? The first one is the words of a man's mouth are deep waters. Like, what does that mean, right? Like, we can know what it says and not know what it's saying. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times we'll read the Bible. It's like, okay, yeah, I speak English. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I know what it said, but, like, do you know what it's saying, right? And so I had to do a little research and figure out, like, when you say a man's mouth are deep waters, like, what do you mean? What do you mean by that, right? And so deep waters meaning murky. It can be hidden, right? It can be difficult to understand, right? The further you go down in the ocean, I don't know if you guys ever heard of the Mariana Trenches, right? But the further you go down, the more pressure you feel, right? The harder it is to breathe, right? The less clear it is. You can't really see, right? It's darker, it's deeper, it's like, it's murky, right? Like, you don't know what's down there. You know what I'm saying? The ocean is kind of like one of them things is here on Earth, and we still don't know that much about it.
The ocean, you scary.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't know Nathaniel. Not now, right? Because it's the deeper you go, the harder it is to even, get clarity, right? So it's comparing human words as deep waters, right? Your human words can be murky, right? To a bubbling brook, right? And that is, in this case, the wisdom, right? It brings life. It brings clarity, right? So a human's words can be murky, but wisdom is clarity, right? It's clear. It brings life to you, right? And so as I was reading this, I'm like, man, this reminds me of fake deep social media posts, right? Like, nothing is worse than hearing something and it's like, it sounds deep, but does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, the social media relationship coach, right, that says, if he could, he would. I'm telling you, girl, if he could, he would. When it's like, but like, it sounds deep, but if you think about it, it's more complex than that.
It is a lot more to go into.
You know what I mean? Like, it's a lot more to go into it. So you can't just say this like 7-word deep thing and then it's like, oh, you're so deep. But like, a human's words are deep, but are they wise though?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I am now trying to stop. I don't want to sound deep, right? I don't want to be, oh, he's so deep. And like, the deeper you try to be, you end up just being more confusing.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you end up just complicating things, right? Like, wisdom is clear. Like, when you say something that's wise, it's like, oh, it's a light bulb moment, right? And so in the Bible, it's like, yo, the wisdom, it comes from a source that's above, right? It doesn't come from you, right? So don't lean on your own words, right? Get what you say, how you move, how you think, your speech, right? It should bring life to not only your life, to those around you, right? So get that from the Bible and get that from above, because it doesn't come from you.
That's big. And I like the way that it's compared to like an ocean, right? It's compared to something that's deep. As you said, the more pressure, the less light that you have, the less ability to see. But you know how people go on those trips and it's crystal clear water,
right?
And you can see it's like you can see as deep as you possibly can.
Yeah,
that's how we want to emulate our lives.
Right.
We want to be so consumed by the Lord's wisdom and understanding that it is clear. It's clear no matter how deep we look.
Right.
No matter how much you get to know Keith, or no matter how much you get to know Hassan, it's clarity.
It's clarity, bro.
We're not saying things to confuse you or saying things to make it sound good. We're just telling you the truth and allowing you to take it for what it is.
Facts.
Have clarity in your speech. Have clarity in your spirit and soul.
Yeah. Honestly, now I think about it, I feel like even contracts, right? Like, we think about celebrities and they get these contracts and they talk about how complicated it is to read it.
Mm-hmm.
Or even NBA players or professional players. And it seems like the more things get complicated, the more I don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Even a lie. The truth is like, it's clear, it's simple. But then a lie is like, it's complicated. You gotta, but then I did this. And then if I would have did this and I had to do it's just too complicated, bro. If stuff is too complicated, from now on, if it's too complicated, not in the sense of like concept, right? You're learning a new concept and things like that, cool. But like, if I'm trying to figure out what's the truth and what's not, and it's too much explaining and it's super complicated and it don't make sense, you lost me.
I feel like a lie is always trying to include insignificant details.
It
Like I backed into the parking spot. What does that have to do with the story? Tell me what you did.
right, like,
You know what I'm saying? Like it's always insignificant details in a
Facts.
lie. The truth is kind of like, here you go. It's almost like when you get the truth, you're like, oh, it's that simple.
right.
That no, it can't be that.
It can't be that.
It can't be that because I'm used to hearing intricate stuff. So
Right.
the truth can't be that simple.
Man-made is super complicated, bro.
Super complicated. Always flooded. All right, so we go into the next theme, right? True security, pride in the heart of a man. True security, pride in the heart of a man. So I took verses 10 through 12 on this one. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe. The rich man's wealth is his strong city, and as a high wall in his own conceit. And before destruction, the heart of the man is haughty, and before honor is humility. God is our truest form of protection, and money only offers a false sense of it.
Right.
As he said, the righteous man runneth to it. You should be running to God. You should be trying to understand the being that put us here, the most powerful being, all knowing, the one that gives us our purpose, the one that gives us the provisions to create. What do I need to be safe, Lord?
Right.
When we come to God, not only does he give us understanding, not only does he give us protection, but he gives us the capability to protect our own selves. God gives us these lessons so that we don't fall into these traps continuously.
Right.
It's not like, hey, I'm going to literally take your foot and step in each step. God is not telling you that I'm literally going to drag you to the finish line. He's telling you I'm going to show you how to get there safely.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm going to tell you how to avoid these distractions.
Right.
I'm going to tell you how to avoid the immoral woman, or how to avoid lust, or how to avoid greed, or how to avoid being blinded by the things that you see. I'm going to give you discernment. I'm going to allow you to utilize all the tools that you already have. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to allow you to speak to me through the Holy Spirit. I'm going to allow all the means that you have to be your protection.
Right.
And then sometimes we look at people with money and we're like, that's all I need. I need money for protection.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I can pay for my ADT, so I can hire my 7-man security team, so I can get my private jet, so I don't have to go around people. Like, money is going to be my protection. That's going to be my castle, so I can build a wall. I'm going to build a wall with my money.
Right.
Right. But then you realize it's a false sense, because if you have these funds, if you have these finances without the wisdom and understanding for God, you're going to lose it.
Facts.
You're going to lose it. So when you can't pay for your ADT bill, when your Ring camera subscription done went out because you don't got the finances into, who do you look for protection?
Yeah.
Where do you get your protection in?
Yeah.
You done spent your life going away from God, focusing on money and putting all of your worth and all of your faith into this money. And then when you lose it and you don't have that, how are you going to protect yourself?
Yeah.
You have to be able to fall back on your wisdom.
Right.
You have to be able to fall back on your discernment to decide if the people around you are the right people, or if I have the right means and places, right? And then it says, for your heart, which seems like to be one of the most important things. I think God always harps on your heart, right? Which is why he says when you come to it, he gives you the capability, or he changes your heart.
Right.
It says, before the destruction, a heart of a man is haughty, and before he honors humility. So my heart determines my future.
Mm-hmm.
My heart determines what I bring into this world.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a backwards concept, because everybody always says, oh, you should think with your mind and neglect your heart. I agree with that if you have a corrupt heart.
Yeah.
If you have a rottenness inside you, you might want to second guess what your heart is telling you to do.
Right.
But if you spent the time with the Lord, if you spent the time learning him and allowing his words to become his words, allowing the discernment that he's giving you to really take faith, then your heart should guide your mind.
For sure.
Your heart should tell you when you're right or wrong. Your heart should tell you, is this person in my life for the correct reasons? Because I've always had these feelings that I couldn't explain.
Mhm.
It's not logical. It's like I don't have a real explanation for why I feel this, but it's a gut feeling. It's not a gut feeling, it's your heart. That's your
Right.
heart telling you that this is the right thing to do.
For sure.
So if I allow that to be the fortitude in my faith, or I allow that to be the guiding light, then I will always make the right decisions.
Yeah.
But if I allow a rottenness to take place in my heart, then that's just the precursor to my destruction.
Yeah.
I'm going to mess up everything I have. I'm going to become lazy. I'm going to become oblivious. I'm going to become naive, and I'm going to put myself in situations where I have to prove that I can protect myself.
Right. Yeah.
So you gotta be clear on, how you approach certain situations, and most of all, you have to be clear on what your heart is actually telling you to do, and if it is the right thing.
Facts. I mean, comparing your wealth to a strong city, you just die every day, B.
Every day.
You know what I'm saying? Like a city gets toppled every day. You know what I'm saying? So like, I like how, Solomon contrasted those two of a city, that's here today and gone tomorrow.
Here
You know
today
what I'm
and
saying?
gone tomorrow.
Going tomorrow, right? But you can have the name of the Lord with you everywhere.
Everywhere.
You know what I'm saying? So like I like that. You can take that with you everywhere. You can't take the wealth and the money and the city. You can't take that everywhere. But the name of the Lord you can, right? So that was dope. I think Solomon, yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense why he was the wisest. It makes sense why he was the richest. It just makes sense. You feel me? And it's clear, right? It's not confusing. It's not murky. It's not deep waters, right? So, and as we progress through that same chapter, right, verse 14, right, and Solomon, this one is talking about the spirit of the man, right? So Proverbs 18:14, right, the spirit of a man will sustain him in sickness, but who can bear a broken spirit? The spirit of a man will sustain him in sickness, but who can bear a broken spirit? The question mark, the rhetorical, but who can bear a broken spirit? It reminds me of Dark Knight, right? He was like, I don't know what would break first, your body or your spirit. He was like, I was molded by the dog, molded by it. You really adopted it, right? So like, your spirit, bro, like, these verses, as you mentioned, right, are talking about the true security, right, pride and the heart of man, right? So in this, your spirit is what's going to sustain you, right? Like, 2 people get sick, 2 people get diagnosed with cancer, right? Same, archetype, and one makes it and one doesn't. You have siblings that grow in the same house, got the same parents. One goes out and becomes ultimately successful, and then the other one still a couch potato, right? Like, your spirit, bro. Like, I think that's the differentiating factor from, just in a worldly sense, people who become successful and people who don't. It's your spirit. Like, how can you sustain when you're sick? Now, sickness is always not physical. That can be sickness financially. That can be sickness mentally. That can be sickness, in addictions, right? Like, what is your spirit like, right? Like, who can bear a broken spirit? If your spirit is broken, it don't matter what's going on. You are doomed to fail. The smallest thing will break you, right? So it shows you that the environment, circumstances, your physical experience in life has no effect on if you make it or not. No effect if you overcome or not. What determines if you overcome, regardless of your surroundings, is your spirit. Right? So your spirit will bring you resilience. Your spirit will bring you life. Right? What's inside of you will sustain you. Right? So keep that in mind. You know what I mean? Like, your spirit becomes, they call it edify, right? Meaning spirit self-development, right? Like, reading the Bible helps my spirit. It helps me overcome things in my environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, how do you build up your spirit? What does lifting weights look like? What is running sprints look like? What is, doing curls in the weight room, doing abs? How can you do that for your spirit? And that's getting here. It's reading and knowing what is actually true and clear and what's murky, right? And once you know that and you have the spirit, right? He goes in verse 16 and he's like, one of my favorite verses, right? Proverbs 18:16 is a man's gift makes room for him and brings him before great men. So imagine if you have built up your spirit by reading the word, and then you tapped into your gift. It'll bring you before great men. Not your master's degree, not your PhD, not your education, not the person that you met who told you they was gonna connect you, right? Not the person that's gonna make you sell your soul, right, to make it in Hollywood. You feel me? Your gift will make room for you. So we are talking about, Proverbs 18, but it's still applicable to today. Like the fact that we even tapping in with our gifts right now. You feel me? Like tap into your gift. What is your gift? What do you do well that everybody's like, man, nobody does that like you? Man, when you do it, it's just different. Your carrot cakes just hit different. You know what I mean? Like, what is it that you do at a high level, supreme level, that is a gift for you? Not something that you had to earn. You know what I'm saying? Like, gifts are given freely out of the lovingness and willingness of someone's heart. So the gift that God gives you is not something that you had to work for. It's not something that you had to earn. You feel me? God gave you that to give it before the world, and it'll bring you before a great man. So if you want to turn your life around in 2026, use your gift. Tap into your gift. And that's what we doing. And that's why we on camera, and that's why we giving you this pod.
I like how you made the parallels to, it being a muscle. It being something that is freely given, but something that you have to consistently train.
Right.
If we're willing to put our bodies through turmoil to become the biggest fitness guru, or we're willing to train our minds, become the smartest individual, how do we train our spirit?
Right.
We get into the Bible. We pray, we meditate, we study, we develop the one thing that holds it all together.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? Your body will break down.
Will break.
Some people's minds break down. Literally. Your spirit is the thing that will sustain and keep you together.
Facts.
So allow those parallels to work in your life. As he said, utilize your gifts. It's given to you freely, but it's up to you what you do with it. You can have a gift and never utilize it. There are plenty of people in this world that have gifts and never utilized it.
And what they say, the richest place in the world is the graveyard.
Richest place in the world is graveyard.
All these untapped potential. But you know what's amazing, though, is like the billionaires, these tech CEOs, even entertainers, athletes, LeBron, Steph, they all made a fortune off of their gift.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like, if you see a person riding in a Lamborghini, I don't think, hey, what university did you go to? I don't think that. I'm thinking like, what do you do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do?
I don't care about your GPA.
Hey, did you take advanced classes? Like, if I see you with, what is it? What's the thing out here? The Stussy or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. You Stussy down, you know what I'm saying? Fear God down, you know what I'm saying? You got the BMW with the Batman, you know what I'm saying, type car with butterfly doors. I don't think, hey, man, what did you make on your ACT? I don't think that. Mm-hmm. I think like, oh, bro, you talented. Oh, you do something. You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you do? You feel me? Like, start thinking of your gifts of what do you do? Because if you want to make a fortune, if you want to be that Oprah Winfrey, Jay-Z, the Steve Jobs, you know what I'm saying, the Mark Zuckerberg, right? Whoever it is that made $1 billion, $1 trillion, right? Elon Musk, they have a gift that they've tapped into. Mm-hmm. And regardless of not, whatever you want to say, I said, Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Hitler, whoever you want to put in this category of people that just the common people hate, bro, they had a gift though. You can learn a lot from them. Real talk. You can learn a lot. I'll say it. Crucify me, counsel me. Screw it. But like you can learn something from them though. Cause there's a trick that they have, right, that we could talk about another time that it just makes them you don't get to that point randomly. There's other white men. Oh, they're a white man in America. Yeah, there's other millions of white men in America that had great family upbringings and had, a cush job and all this other stuff that was silver spoon. There's something about them that made them different than the other white man too. Let's just keep it a buck.
Mm. And one thing I also learned is though your gifts can take you to different areas, though you can make it in media, you can make it being a trash man, you can make it being a chef, you can make it being a recording artist, He can make it being a clothing designer. There are so many different means that your gift can take you to heights, but the principles remain the same.
It's always a parallel.
It's always discipline. It's always sacrifice. It's always work. It's always not seeing results during the process.
Right.
Like all of them always, though they say it in hundreds and millions of different ways, it all comes back to the same principles.
Right.
They sacrificed things that everybody else indulges in to get to a point to where now everybody has an opinion about how and what they do.
Right.
So like, don't get lost in that. As Hassan said, you know, when you see somebody in a nice car and stuff, you're like, yo, what do you do?
Right.
I stopped relying on all of these plaque-esque accomplishments when I seen somebody driving in a Lamborghini and their license plate said 1.7 GPA.
Oh, for real?
1.7 GPA. You know what I mean? So it's like, okay, there's other ways to do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, don't get so caught up in this path that everybody tries to force you on. Like, you can do it a million different ways. But even with that 1.7 GPA, I think he realized that that wasn't his gift, that his gift was in another means of life. So utilize what God has already given you, work on that, and allow that to make room for you. Facts. Because it will. All right, and then lastly, with this verse, a lot of good content in it. Relationships, words, and the gift of companionship. Now, I know women love this verse. Love this verse. This is something they always harp on. They always trying to throw it around. Whoso findeth the wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. Whoso findeth the wife. Right. My man got to be out there looking for me. He need to be in the cracks and crevices. He need to be Sherlock Holmes. I'm talking Blue's Clues. Door, backpack. They want us. You know what I'm saying? Like, they want us out here searching high and low for them. And like, for the longest time, I struggled with that. I was like, okay, if it says he so findeth, that means I should be actively searching at every moment. I should be looking around the corners. I should be lifting up the couches. I should be outside trying to find this wife that God is telling me about. Because when I find her, I know I found favor with God. But then I gave a parallel to it. I've always found it easier to find things when I stop looking for them. I've always found it easier to find things when I stop looking for them. Remotes, I lose them joints all the time in the crib. And I will sit here and run my house ragged trying to find the remote and never find it. But then I look at my circumstances. I look at my surroundings. The crib's messy. I didn't do what I was supposed to do today. I was lazy. I didn't cook. I didn't eat right. There's so many other things in my peer view that I have yet to give attention to, but I'm so focused on this remote. I'm so focused on this distraction. And then the moment that I start putting my life back together, the moment I start cleaning, the moment I start doing what I'm supposed to do, the moment I start finding my purpose, that remote just pops up magically. It's like the one thing that I had been trying to find all my life was there, but it just took me getting my life together to find it. Right. So it wasn't me actually Blue's Clues searching Google how to find a wife. It was me diving deep into my purpose.
And the remote was a remote when you found it.
When I found it.
You didn't have to develop into a wife.
I didn't have to create it. It was already a remote.
She was already a wife.
It didn't say put the batteries in, put the pack together, put the remote together, the buttons, all that stuff. No.
Nah.
It was already that. So
she gonna change the channel once you get there. Nah. She already built to change the channel.
Exactly. So it was just like me focusing on my purpose, me focusing on corralling the turmoil in my life allowed me to find the thing that I was searching for. So that just shows me in life, when you find a wife as a man, as I said, is favor from God, God is not going to give you what you're not ready for. Tight. If your whole life is in shambles, why do you think you have the right to search for a wife? If you can't even get up in the morning on the time you're supposed to get up, if I can't even work out, if I can't even have my word as bond, if I can't even align with the things that I said I'm going to do, and pray and be obedient and disciplined, why would I ever think that God is going to give me a wife? It's not about searching for that wife. It's about finding yourself, and then you will stumble upon that wife. And the reason you'll do that, because just like you, aligned with your purpose, doing the things that you're supposed to, this woman is doing the same thing. So you guys' lives just come together.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think Solomon put that in this verse?
Why do I think that he put this in this chapter?
Because, this chapter, we're talking about wise judgment. We're talking about, I guess, your speech, right? Foolish and wise speech, right? We're talking about wisdom, right? Like, why we talking about a rich man's wealth is his strong city, like before destruction. We're talking about pride and humility. Like, why does that go in that chapter?
So I'll say this, right? I think Proverbs is a very developmental chapter. It is about how do I become almost a better individual, a better person? Yeah. How do I align myself, right? Majority of the first couple chapters, Solomon is not talking about women in a way of like being ready for a wife. It's almost like the women you should avoid.
It's not talking about like their treasure. It's like
He's more so telling you about the woman and the things that you should avoid and the things that you should seek out.
Yeah.
So it's like even a lot of the things that are bad for you, he gives them the persona of a woman. It says her, she, but it may not be referring to the actual form of woman. It's just referring to that object as a her or she, right? Yeah. Not saying women are terrible. We love y'all, right? But this whole chapter is like a developmental chapter. It's like, hey, don't do this, do this. Don't do this, do this. Don't do this, do this. So it's like preparing yourself to be ready for that wife when you find her. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If I don't do none of the work, why do I think I deserve the reward?
Yeah.
As it said, a man who finds a wife finds favor with God. I know a lot of y'all gonna hate me for this because, you know, and today, I'll just say in all of life, you know, women are on a biological clock. So they get to a certain point where they want to skip steps. They want to get straight to marriage. I want to be married. I want to have a family.
Yeah.
Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Is the man that you're asking ready for that? The divorce rate is so high because we ain't asking God if this is the right relationship. That's why the divorce rate is so high. That's why you dealing with men in infidelity. That's why you got women in infidelity, because they ain't did the work on themselves. They want to skip steps because they put themselves on a time frame and they didn't do any of the real work.
Yeah.
It's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, for sure.
So like, work on yourself and then you going to find that partner. God going to make sure you good. He's going to give, as we said in Ecclesiastes 5, he's going to give you your portion.
He's going to give you
your due. When you labor and you do the things you're supposed to do, he's going to give you your due.
No cap.
So focus on that.
I'm like Elisha. I want a double portion.
Double. I want a double portion.
I want a double portion. I need that double for your trouble. Right? Okay, on that note, right? Speaking about finding a wife, right? And just partners, and really, I don't know if the word manifesting is the right word. I'm still trying to figure out that whole manifesting thing, right? Because sometimes it's like, oh, you know, speak things into existence. Like, if I want a Lamborghini right now, let there be a Lamborghini, like a good neighbor. Lamborghini's there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if speaking things into existence is really the right thing to say, because we've all spoken some things that we wanted into existence and they didn't happen, and we spoke some things that we didn't want, and we're glad that it didn't happen.
I ain't gonna lie, listening to Myron go and change my mindset on that.
You know what I'm saying? So like, I don't know if that's the actual formula for that, because again, I always judge the right process if it worked. Mm-hmm. Did we get results? I've spoken things before and it didn't show up. You know what I'm saying? I've also not spoken things, right? And I'm glad that I didn't, and it prevented some things from showing up. So I'm still trying to figure that out, right? Nonetheless, right? In this verse, it says, a man's stomach shall be satisfied with the fruit of his mouth. In verse 20 of Proverbs 18, from the produce of his lips he shall be filled. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit, right? So if you would have asked me this a couple months ago, I would have been like, yeah, like speaking into existence, manifest, yeah. But I think what happens is the more, and there's another book called, what is it? It's basically, I forget the name of it, but it's asking, the book is about, they put words on a petri dish, right? They put negative words on a petri dish and positive words on a petri dish. And over time, right, they put water in each, and the negative words with water, it grows bacteria, and then the positive words, it stays the same and it's clear. So it's like, does water have the ability to read words? right? And I say all that to say the positive, the death and life, the energy that you're putting into the earth. Is there something being passed to the earth that makes the earth respond to what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, did God put some type of magical frequency that we don't fully understand yet to make what you say actually bring return on what you actually seeing? In this verse, I got to take it for what it is. It seems like that's what's happening, right? For me right now, where I'm at, I feel like the more positive things you say, the more energy you emit for you to, I guess, kind of, I'm not going to say take action to make it come to pass, right? But the more you believe it. The more I sing a chorus of a song, the more I believe it. The more I say, F these harlots get money, the more, if you're listening to it all the time,
the more you believe it,
you're going to end up believing it. You know what I'm saying? If I'm riding with all the homies and we mad and we playing Tupac and Bitches as a rider, I'm probably start going to believe in that music and go do something crazy, right? So, like, I think the more of what you say, whether it be positive or negative, you end up believing it, and your beliefs causes the actions that bring into reality whatever it is that you're saying. So I think that's what it is, right? I think death and life is in the power of the tongue, because if you believe that stuff that you're saying over and over and over, you're going to end up taking actions on bringing that type of reality to what you see in your environment.
I completely agree with that, right? As you say, like, as I said, I watched Myron Golden, and he kind of changed my perspective a little bit on this, right? He says God is the only one that ever spoke anything into existence. He said, "Let there be light," and there was.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let there be, let there be. God's the only one that actually was able to do that. But as you said, we speak things into existence, not in the fact that I could say something and it's going to magically appear, but the more I say something, as you said, the more I believe it, the more my actions will learn to it. So we actually work things into existence, but our mind and our thoughts and our speech dictate how hard we work towards that goal. So it's not us just randomly saying something and it's appearing. It is the cultivation of our mind, the cultivation of the garden that we are bearing the fruit of that we work for.
Right. So I don't know. And you know, 3 podcast episodes from now, I may have a whole different
may change
outlook. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is growing, this is a development, and this is part of it. Right? But yeah, that was it. Proverbs 18, Solomon, right? Talking about a speech, talking about the true heart of a man, right? And, you know, like he said, when you find a remote when you're not looking for it.
When you're not looking for it.
You know what I'm saying? So, anything else?
Nah, nothing else, brother.
Hey, Freewenow.
Till it is backwards.
Yes, sir, Ski.